Hi, and welcome to another Sassy Divas collab. My name is Tracy. I'm in the dressing room, and Chloe is with the new cat, and Bandit is, well, he's harassing my stepdad. But if you're new, welcome. Thanks so much for checking us out. And if you're returning, thank you so much for being a part of our YouTube family. So this is just the spare room at my mom's house that she turned into, because it was tiny, like her own little personal closet, which now Chloe and I, because we're here, have turned it into our own personal closet. So easy come, easy go, Mom. All right, so this month our collab theme is wild animals. So I looked up, I'm like, most wild animals, when you think about wild animals, right, and you think about lions and bears and giraffes, and you know, they're all tan or gray, like your elephants, rhinoceros, hippopotamus. You could maybe throw in a little purple there, but for the most part, you're looking at tans and grays. But when you look at birds of the wild animal kingdom, there are beautiful, gorgeous birds. So I chose peacock, because why not? Beautiful colors, right? So I have a little bit of makeup on from work. I'm going to get that off. I'm just going to use a makeup wipe. Now, the one nice thing about being here is everything's in here. I don't have to bring stuff back and forth. So I think from now on, I'm going to do them in here. And yeah, you got the messy, you got my wannable, which I'm still waiting to hear. Hopefully by the time this comes up on Sunday, I'm still waiting to hear about whether or not I'm getting that 30% off, which I am 100% sure I had a coupon for. And it said it applied the coupon. And yet, nothing. So waiting to hear on that, which is going to make my decision as to whether I get 3 items or 1 item. I've already found the one of the pairs of jeans I really liked, and that would have been like my one thing I was going to get if I got only one thing, and they didn't have it in a smaller size. So I found them actually for $20 cheaper at Glicks. So I went ahead and ordered those. You know, I always read reviews first, but they are like a storefront. So I figured they're probably pretty legit. Most of the reviews were actually about them as employers. So I was like, well, I mean, that's nice to know, but I'm not going to go work for Glicks. And so I don't know. And then another one of the sweaters I found for $20 or $30 cheaper on another boutique website that had great reviews. So hold up, well, let me see what else they have. They didn't have anything else. And then one of the 78 and Sunny sweaters on their website is 15% off. So if there's no percentage off, I'm going to send a lot of the stuff back and get it from these other websites for cheaper, because there were things I really liked, but I'm not gonna pay more than I have to, right? All right, so I'm just gonna pull my hair back here and just touch up the foundation. I always do these like at the end of the day, and then like I'm just gonna get in the shower and wash it all off, which is fine because sometimes I do some pretty crazy looks. All right, so right now what I'm using is this Dewy Skin by Ciate, because I ran out of my With the Foundation, which is my absolute go-to favorite from Jones Road. And I'm just waiting to see if they have a Black Friday sale, because I think that's how I got it the first time. But I got this for $5 on Ipsy, so I'm like, well, whatever. Like, it will last me for as long as it needs to last me. You know, I spray a little bit of setting spray. Not that I need it for tonight, but it does help move things around too, so that you have a more even look, I find. But that's just me. You may find it different. Yeah, the other thing is I don't need a ring light in here, so it's like a twofer because I've got this bright light. All right, so that's like a serum based. the Ciate, and it just does a nice job kind of evening out the skin tone. And we're going to go in and do some contouring. So you're going to do under your neck, because that's right like along the neckline, because that is going to help with like the appearance of, let's say, a little bit more flap under here than you want. And then here is to kind of try to give a little bit of a false lift to that area, although it doesn't seem to really work, but I still do it because I don't know. And as you can see, certain areas I kind of dab in, and other areas I kind of just really work in. And then, oh, and that was by Morphe. It's the Shape Lifter, and I don't know what the shade is. Let's see. I keep glasses everywhere. Micro Contour Stick Sculpted. I think Sculpted is the color. And then this is that Jones Road pencil in one of the lighter colors. Then by Tarte, I have, this is their Peach color corrector. So they have a couple of different shades of peach, and I use the lightest one for my skin tone, but they do have darker ones if you have, you know, more olive tone or more, you know, chocolate toned skins. Whatever your skin tone is, they do have some different colors, and it's supposed to correct those dark spots. So you can definitely get a good color match. It's not a one size fits all. And then I just use a little contour brush. I got this from Ipsy for, I think, $3 or $5. And then my Charlotte Tilbury bronzer, which I've had for quite some time, well over a year, but it's so big. And then with your bronzer, you want to kind of mimic what the sun would do, right? So it's going to hit you like right here, and it's going to like dapple your nose. So that's what you want to do with your bronzer. You want to make sure that you're kind of making it look as much like the sun would look. For cheeks, I'm going to use this Tinted brand, and this is their Hue Glow Blush in the shade Magnetic, I believe it says on the bottom. Okay, I just threw that across the room, but anyway, it's kind of a dark shade, but the magic is you use a little bit and it's going to go a long way. So just these two little dots, and that's going to blend right in. And as you can see, it's not as dark as you would think based upon how it looks when you first put it on, and you're like, oh no, thank you. But yeah, you can make that work. So for the eyes, I'm going to go with a blend of the Sirens palette, or Call of the Siren palette from Gourmand Girls, and this Wonderland palette from Cosmic Brushes, because this has some great blues and purples, this has some great gold, and it's got this fantastic peacock blue sparkle right there. It looks darker, but yeah, I think that's going to work well. And I'm going to go with this blue right here. Now, I want to tell you about some of the other ladies involved in this collab. If you're just tuning in for the first time, Stephanie over at Glitzy Gem, she kind of put us all together and tries to keep us all on track. That's not my forte. My forte is like the thumbnails and playlists and things like that. I let her try to rein folks in. And then there's Leslie over at Hillbilly Creativity, and she always puts together some powerful looks. Emily over at Emily D, and Kristen at her channel, Krusty Kristen. So make sure you're checking out everybody in the collab. We do have a subscriber give back. Each month, each of us picks a semi-finalist, somebody who is publicly subscribed to everybody in the collab and who has commented on all of the videos. We'll each randomly pick one. I use the YouTube random comment picker, and then I go to each channel to make sure that you have left a comment and that you are a public subscriber on their channel. And then if you meet all that criteria, then your name goes to the secret hostess, who then puts those names on a wheel picker and picks one final, like one grand prize winner or whatever you want to call it, the actual person who's going to win, and announces it in her video. So a couple of other things for our give back, other than having to be publicly subscribed and comment on all the videos. You also need to be 18 or over. You need to have a mailing address within the continental US. You need to check anything out before you use it. You know, we can't be held responsible for an allergic reaction. YouTube is not affiliated with the subscriber give back at all, nor any of the brands mentioned in any of our videos. And I think that's pretty much it. The standard rules are down below, but it is a subscriber give back. It is not a random giveaway. In other words, we're giving back to our subscribers. So if you have questions about that, please feel free to reach out. But that is what we want to do, is to give back to our subscribers. All right, so for this outer edge, I'm going to use a combination of this blue and this blue together. So we're going to have some shimmer in with that dark blue. And you know, one thing to know about when you subscribe to folks on YouTube is if you are a new subscriber to them, it makes a little bit of sense for you to watch a couple of their videos, because oftentimes YouTube will see a singular subscription, particularly if you get like a bunch. So like, let's say 20 people subscribe to me based upon this video, right? But they don't watch any of my other videos. They see that as bot-like behavior, and they actually drop you and then remove your comment. So, you know, here you are and you're subscribing to all these folks and you're wondering, like, why do I never win? Well, if you're only watching the occasional video where there's a giveaway, you know, unless we're having giveaways every week and you're watching every one of those, chances are YouTube is seeing you as a bot, because that bot-like behavior, if you get a ton of subscriptions off of one video. It's happened before. I was in a collab and I got, I don't know, I think I bumped up like almost 100 people. And then the next day, 90 of those people were gone. So no comment, no nothing. Like, I went from X amount of comments to 90 less comments, basically. I remember it was 100, could have been like 115. It was a large number, and the majority of those were gone the next day. So that's what happens. Now, we're a small group, and most of you have been with us the whole time. So I don't suspect something like that will happen with this, but it is just like a general reminder for any other giveaway videos that you participate in, is to just, you know, make sure you're watching some other videos. Otherwise, your chances go down because YouTube removes you. All right, I'm going to come into this Gourmand Girls, and I'm going to use this yellow. And I'm just going to go in with my fingers and go into this corner here. And so the reason I did that dark undertone was to get this kind of payout with your shimmers and with multi-chromes or duochromes, you really get the bigger payout with a darker color underneath. And of course, we are going for something super bold. All right, so next we're going to take that kind of glittery, shimmery one right here, and we're going to go right in the middle of the eye. And then I'm going to come back with that golden color and just re-blend it in, because as you may have seen, there was a little bit of overlap and it kind of went over some of that gold that I wanted to make sure you guys saw in there. And I got a little bit under the eye, but that's all right because I was actually going to get a little brush and do that anyway. All right, so here's that little brush. It's got like a little point on the end. So I just want to use that, and I want to just kind of come around and get under the eye there. And in the corner. Then I'm going to take this color right here with that same brush. Just to come under the eye and bring it all together. Then I'm going to take this copper color and I'm going to go right on that outer edge there. Then I'm taking this one right here, which is actually a multi-chrome, so fun. And I'm going to come up and do right over here. And then you really get in much better if you just don't try to do that over the eye. Just going to go in with that same hand as the side of the eye. Then I'm going to come in with this shifty guy right here. And I'm going to get up here. Then I'm going to take this pencil from Thrive, and it is like a gel liner. Well, it's not like a gel liner, it is a gel liner. And I'm going to go in and tight line up here. All right, and then I'm just going to come into the very edge of the lid there. And try to create a little drama. I don't want to forget my brows because they're looking crazy. So this is by Toy Co. And it's not my favorite. It's a little gooier and a little more kind of stiff than I prefer, but it'll do in a pinch. When it's too stiff, I find myself kind of worrying at it and crumbling it. I don't know if you guys do that, but I do. And then this is that $1 billion brow that you know I love. Now, if I had fake lashes, this would be the time to put them on, but I don't. So I'm going to take this Lash Sense mascara because it has a volumizing brush. But this is a look that cries for false lashes. Then I'm going to come in with this Blink mascara, which is actually, when it comes to tubing mascaras, this little guy that I got from FabFitFun for like $12 on their sale. It's pretty amazing. All right, and then to top this look off, we're going to go with a little bit of a curl. So I'm just getting a little heat spray on there, and that's by Laneige, the same people who make the curling iron I'm going to use. So it's a flat iron, but it does a great job curling. This little button here is the fan, and it's already been heating up. And I'm just going to kind of do a quick kind of thing for you. I'm not going to pin it up and do the back and all that, but I just kind of want to show you how well this works. I love this. Now, I paid for this. I don't get any money from them. I'm not featured in any of their content. But just like any flat iron, all right, you're just going to give it a little bit of curl, and you pull it out. Y'all know I love hair tools, right? I got so many different ones. Probably if there's one you've been wondering about, I probably got it. That's not a brag. That's a sickness. I am constantly looking for what's going to make my hair look good. So again, this is super easy, super quick. Obviously, if you have thicker hair, it's going to take you a little longer than it takes me. But you don't really have to turn it much. Now, if you want more of a curl on the end, you're going to want to, at the end, give it that little snap there around so that you don't have kind of this situation. Now, I don't mind that situation, but towards closer to my face, I do prefer to have it a little more curled, so I do like to give it that little snap at the bottom. But this is super easy. Like, you don't have to keep this on your hair for any real length of time. And as with anything, with the right hairspray, it'll stay. And you can take a pretty thick length of it, and it's still going to work out nicely for you. Sometimes you need to give it a little bit more of a spin. And because it's also cooling it for you, it's kind of immediately set. And besides the back of my hair, that's it. I'm done. And I'm just going to run my fingers through it to give it a little bit of a tousled look. And we're done. So tell me your thoughts. I do, I put the black in to kind of think about how there's that black circle, almost like an eye looking in the peacock's feather, although it's this way, but I thought that would look kind of funny. So I really tried to kind of get the, got a little mascara right there. I really tried to get the feel for the peacock in the colors, not obviously drawing peacock feathers on my face, but tell me your thoughts. I don't know that I'd go out to the grocery store, but I would go out like to dinner like this, may not be kind of an everyday work look, but kind of fun, play with makeup, always play with makeup, even if it's just, you're just doing it at home, just for some fun, gives you that feeling of creativity. I'm going to go out, dinner's ready. My mom's going to tell me I look crazy, and that's okay. But make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell so that you can be part of our subscriber give back. Check out all those other ladies, and hopefully I'll see you soon. I forgot lips. How did I do that? All right. Well, I'm going to start with this Lawless Forget the Filler. This is just like a clear lip balm. Let's use this Natasha Denona lip pencil. This is that Berry Bliss. And then we'll go with the matching lipstick.
I'm right here. I'm about to do all my meeting.
What? Okay, I'll bring you in your dinner when it's ready.
Thank you.
And then for the gloss, I'm going to use this Glam Light one. This is the collaboration they have with Michaela. And I got it in a Busy Beauty box. I love the color. I don't know that I love the influencer behind it. All right, so what I do is I put it on my hand there, and then I swoop it up and tap it on. It takes a little bit longer to kind of get your desired look, but you don't have a wand all full of lipstick. And I picked this because it's got those gold flecks, and it just makes me think about the gold in the peacock. All right, now tell me your thoughts. All right, well now please hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell, and hopefully I'll see you soon.